This action rather is holding me back from getting somewhere. Therefore, rather than me repeat it and hoping for something else, I'm going to take a risk. And with that risk comes that a little bit of anxiety, but that anxiety doesn't need to be a bad thing. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I get asked all the time why we find ourselves in the same situations over and over again. Almost that we're repeating the same tasks, expecting different results. People getting frustrated, they're getting angry, they're finding themselves doing the same thing, expecting different results. And sometimes that different result will happen, but most of the time it won't. And the short answer is we're doing the same task for something called situational compulsion. We can't help but when we find ourselves in a similar situation as always, we do the same thing that we've always done to get ourselves out of that situation. And the reason we're getting out of that situation is because of anxiety, fear, all those negative emotions which are pushing us. So our compulsion is to do the same thing, hoping for a different result, but feeling in that moment a sense of safety, happiness, contentment. Almost that in that moment, everything will get sorted out if we just do that same thing again. And this is why we procrastinate, we put off doing things that we should be doing, and we just end up repeating the same task and, again, praying and hoping for something new to happen. But chances are it's not going to. Because if it was likely to happen, it would have happened already. And you'd be on to the next thing. Or you'd be doing the same task and getting a result over and over and over again. We get used to it. Our brains are wired to repeat the same actions over and over and over again. We hope for different results sometimes, but usually it's because we have other things to focus on. Let's think about it like this. If you're walking down the road and you had to think about how to walk every single time, you get stuck. So therefore our brain creates a way for us to walk down the road, know what's going on, watch out for cars, watch out for people walking into us, and cracks on the floor. If you're always focusing on how to walk down the road, you won't be focusing on what you're gonna eat for dinner, how you're gonna get to work, or go to the gym, see someone. All you'll be thinking about over and over again is what foot goes where. Think about conversation, same thing happens. If you had to think about every single word that you wanted to say over and over again, you'd be stuck. No one would be talking to each other. So we're wired to repeat the same actions again. But sometimes those actions are actually not on point with where we want to go now. So then we're repeating something because it may have worked for you in the past. It may have been the way that your brain thought was the best thing to do in that moment. But sometimes it's just not. And that's okay, because what we're going to do today is to reform the way that you're seeing these situations so that rather than doing them, hoping for a different result, you're going to look at them, see them, and do something different. And when I say that, the first thing that comes up for me and for many other people too, is that I feel scared. What is it that's going to happen if I do something different? You have to learn something, you might get it wrong, something might not work out. Any situation might happen, but yet, if you're doing the same thing you've always done, you know what's going to happen. So if it's something that's wrong, you need to think, okay, this action rather is holding me back from getting somewhere. Therefore, rather than me repeat it and hoping for something else, I'm going to take a risk. And with that risk comes that a little bit of anxiety, but that anxiety doesn't need to be a bad thing. Remember, anxiety is just trying to motivate you forward. I've talked loads about anxiety, so I'm not going to talk about it too long here, but I'll link to a video above my head right about now, which will help you to manage your anxiety. But when it comes to that new action, what is it that you need to do? The first step is to think about a situation you repeat over and over again. Make it real for yourself, because that's going to make it easier for you to form and create a new pathway in that action, and also to notice what's happening in those moments, which makes you repeat those same situations. I mean, it could be anything from what you're eating, exercising, not doing work, or doing something else and procrastinating instead of doing something you should be doing. And now you have that thing. The second thing to notice is what feeling comes up when you need to do something else and what makes you go back to that procrastination. And once you know that emotion, the third thing is to, instead of being scared of it, to feel happy about it. All you're going to do is to keep on pressing that button. When anxiety, dread, fear comes up, instead of you feeling this is a bad thing, you need to get away from it, no, it's a good thing and a new thing for you to feel validated and happy about doing. Because if you can start feeling happy when those difficult conversations, those difficult situations, those difficult, most importantly, emotions start coming up, then all of a sudden, instead of being pushed away when you feel them, you're going to gravitate towards them, because you're going to know that it's something that's really important to you and something that you need to work out. The reason why you keep on doing those things is because it's easy. If it was hard, you'd probably be doing something else. Your body and your brain is trying to find the easiest and best way for you to manage the situation, the world, your emotions, everything going on in the most safe, controlled way. Therefore, you need to start figuring out how it is that you can change that. Once you start to do that, you're going to find so many more choices and options are available to you. So instead of being scared and being pushed away from doing those things, you're going to feel scared and happy and go out and do it. I'll be honest with you, this video today is something which I've been putting off doing for a couple of days now because I haven't had the time, A. But B, I've been thinking, what am I going to say? How am I going to say it? What happens if I don't know what to say? How many takes is it going to take me? All these fears come up. Therefore, instead of me go, I've got all those fears, I'm going to go and play PlayStation 5. I think to myself, I'm going to instead do the video because all those fears come up and I know that I can quell that agitation, that anxiety, and that fear by doing the video, getting it done, editing it out, and feeling a sense of pride and admiration at myself for facing the fear and doing it anyway. This is something that's so important for you, not just in terms of procrastinating and playing video games or something else, but also it's going to lead you to feel happier doing anything new, taking those risks and living a more fulfilled life. And what I hope you're going to do after this video is to realize that you have more control over your actions than you thought. Remember, your brain is engineered to pick the easier path. So make sure that you're starting to reform the way that you see the world at large so that you don't have to fall to the victim of doing those same repetitive tasks that you know will give you a little bit of happiness in the short term, but in the long term will lead you to having the same reaction and the same situations presented to you. You are better than that. Make sure that you create that new life that you want for yourself. On that note, I'm going to wish you all the best. Remember to like this video and subscribe to see plenty more to come. I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.